Hey guys, welcome to my full series review of Dragon Ball. Now as you may notice, some things look a bit different. I actually got a new bookshelf the other day, so I put all my new manga on that. I rearranged everything, it's all organized now, and now I got it all behind me. It's all pretty sick. So yeah, this will be my review setup from now on. Anyway, Dragon Ball. So Dragon Ball is a manga series done by the one and only Akira Toriyama. It ran from 1984 to 1995 in Shonen Jump. So when Dragon Ball was first released in North America, they did it so it was two separate series, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, similar to how they do it with the anime. However, in Japan and with the recent release of the Viz 3-in-1s, Dragon Ball is considered one long series that consists of 42 volumes, which is what I'm going to be reviewing today. Because the series is much longer than the other series I've reviewed so far, I will be keeping story details a bit vague, but I mean it's Dragon Ball, so most of you already know the story anyway. So Dragon Ball follows series protagonist Son Goku, who is one of the last survivors of an alien race called the Saiyans. Now before planet Vegeta, the home of the Saiyans, was destroyed, Goku was sent to Earth, where he was found by Son Gohan. Now Gohan takes up the title of his grandfather and raises Goku until his death. After living by himself for a while, Goku runs into a girl named Bulma who says she is on a quest to find the 7 Dragon Balls, because once you find the Dragon Balls, you can get any wish you desire. Bulma's wish is, of course, to get a new boyfriend. Now before his death, Goku's grandfather gave him the 4-star Dragon Ball, so Goku already has one, and he decides to go on with Bulma on an adventure to find all the Dragon Balls. But of course, that description really just covers the first arc of the series, which there are many. Along the way, they run into a bunch of people, make some friends, make some enemies. Eventually, Goku starts training with Master Roshi, who is this wise old man who's also a crazy pervert. He teaches Goku along with Krillin all the basics, how to levitate, how to do the Kamehameha wave, all that good stuff. They find tournaments, they take down evil organizations, they fight evil kings, it's all pretty awesome. This is really only describing part 1 of Dragon Ball, and it's all so good. The story here is really something special. It's so much fun, it's so enjoyable, it's lighthearted, it's funny, it's action-packed, even though it can also have a serious side sometimes. And every step of the way, I just enjoyed the hell out of it. Now, eventually, Goku grows up and has a son whom he names after his late grandfather, Gohan. And this is when Dragon Ball Z starts, which is when things start to get a bit crazy. So this is the part of the story when Goku and the readers learn that he is actually an alien. Now this is when the small little story turns into a huge epic saga. Because now we have other aliens coming down who want to destroy the Earth, aliens who want to capture the Dragon Balls and gain eternal life. We have evil robots and scientists, and we have this fat pink Kirby thing who turns people into chocolate. And to be honest, the rest is history. This is such a well-known story. Dragon Ball is insanely popular, and its legacy kinda speaks for itself. Most of this stuff back here would not exist without Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has just had such a huge impact on shonen battle manga that it's kind of insane when you think about it. As you know, I've been reading Naruto recently, and in between all the chapters, Masashi Kishimoto is always talking about how much of an inspiration Akira Toriyama's work has had on him. He says that he used to draw his characters all the time, and it really made him want to become a mangaka. And now, of course, he has written one of the most popular manga ever created. Now, while you can analyze this story, pick it apart, there may be some plot holes, some things that don't really add up, but Dragon Ball is just such a fun series that you don't really care about all that stuff. I also think this series wraps up pretty nicely. I feel like that if it had gone on longer than it did, it may have started to get a bit repetitive if it stuck to the same formula that it's been using for such a long time. Now, if there's one small problem I had with the Dragon Ball story is that once Dragon Ball Z starts, a lot of the humor found in just normal Dragon Ball isn't really there. Because Dragon Ball is very much an action comedy, but Dragon Ball Z is more just action. Sure, there are some funny bits, but it never really gets to the heights of the normal Dragon Ball humor. So yeah, I kinda wish it had stayed a comedy just the whole way through, but either way, it didn't make it any less fun to read. So now it's time to talk about the characters, and there are a ton of characters, as you would expect from a series that is 42 volumes long. So first up, we might as well talk about Goku, who is your classic hero. He's nice, and he's caring, and he always wants to save the people who mean the most to him. However, he's kind of an idiot. And I mean, it's not entirely his fault. I mean, his friggin' grandfather didn't teach him what a girl was. Like, seriously? Really? I mean, when he first meets Bulma, he's like feeling her up, he's like, what the crap are you? But I mean, this is what makes his character so charming, just how clueless he can be sometimes, and it's really funny. One of my favorite examples of this is when he's a little kid, and he doesn't know what marriage is, and he promises that he will marry someone, and then later down the line, when he grows up, you can expect what happens next. So yeah, Goku's a really great character, and there's a ton of others. Vegeta is a super iconic character. He's like, you know, the main anti-hero of the series. We also have Piccolo, who is a friggin' badass. He's probably my favorite character. And it's also really interesting to see some of these characters grow throughout the series. For example, when Dragon Ball Z starts, Goku's son Gohan is only like 4 or 5 years old or something, and by the end of the series, he's an adult. And it was really interesting to see his character growth throughout the entire series. One of my favorite characters is Master Roshi, Goku's first teacher. He is a badass, but he's also a super crazy pervert. He's like 300 years old. He's living by himself, watching, you know, God knows what on his TV all day. And yeah, as disgusting as he can be, he always seems to make me laugh, and I kinda wish we got to see more of him in Dragon Ball Z, which is where one of my bigger complaints with the characters comes up. Now, while Dragon Ball Z introduces a lot of really interesting characters that I really like, I have a feeling that some of the Dragon Ball characters got the shaft. I mean, there are some characters in Dragon Ball that are really interesting and I'd really like to see more of, and while we may see more of them in Dragon Ball Z, they don't really do much and they're not that useful. This is just because some of the other characters grow so much more powerful that these guys just can't hold a finger to them. There are even some characters from Dragon Ball who we never see again. And some characters are just reduced to cameos. I was just talking about how much I love Master Roshi, and he's barely in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, he's like, you barely see him at all. I don't even think he fights in Dragon Ball Z, like, not once. I may be wrong there, but I don't remember him being in Dragon Ball Z very often. Also, throughout the series, there is a lot of false suspense with the characters, and what I mean is, you get all the Dragon Balls, you gain any wish, which includes bringing people back to life. And you can collect the Dragon Balls over and over again. I mean, there is a time you have to wait before you use them, but essentially, you see how it is. So the false suspense isn't really at the beginning of the story, but as it goes on, you see two characters fighting to the death. You're kind of not really worried if one of them dies or not, because you know that they can just be brought back to life with the Dragon Balls. But like I said for story, all of these problems don't really matter that much because of how fun the series is to read. You kind of see what I'm getting at here? All of these characters are super iconic. Even if you're not a fan of Dragon Ball, you know who a bunch of these characters are. I mean, you see them as figures, you see them on shirts, you see them as memes. You just see these guys everywhere, and they're all awesome. Except for Yamcha, he kinda sucks. So let's talk about the art for a little bit, and there's really not much to say. Like the story and characters, this art has just been super influential over the years. A lot of people try to mimic Toriyama's style, which is not a bad thing, because his art style is wonderful. Everything is super clear, the characters are very expressive, and the action is really easy to follow. So yeah, the art is great. I cannot applaud some of these manga artists enough. I mean, when you think about it, they have to work their asses off to get 20 pages out every single week while keeping consistent with their artwork. I mean, people like Toriyama have been doing it for years and years straight, and some people have been going on even longer than he has. Alright, so it is time for my final verdict, which is 6 out of 7 Dragon Balls. While there are some flaws here and there, overall, this series is just fantastic. It is pretty much a must-read for any fan of shonen battle manga. In fact, you've probably already read it. It's just had such a lasting impact on the industry. So many people love Dragon Ball, so many people still talk about it, and it is just a classic. So if you want to take my advice and get into Dragon Ball for yourself, you can get these single volumes released by Viz in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z formats or whatever. There used to be 2 box sets available, but they are now unfortunately out of print. You can still get them for like $1,000 or something, but chances are you don't want to do that. You can also get them in the VizBig format. Yes! I absolutely love VizBigs. They are huge, they have great paper quality, they have some color pages, they're awesome. All 42 volumes are available in this format. You also save a ton of money if you get these, especially if you order them online. Viz has also been releasing 3-in-1s. Not the whole series is out yet, but they are being released now, so within the next few months they should all be out. Now, I hate to say it, but I really don't like Viz's standard 3-in-1s. I don't think the paper quality is that great, and I don't like how they're basically just squishing 3 volumes like really close together, and the paper is all thin, and it's really weird. And what I don't understand is that they already have perfectly good 3-in-1s for Dragon Ball. I mean, I know the series is popular, but I mean, if people want it, they can just get the VizBigs. I mean, they're not all that much more expensive than the 3-in-1s, and I still believe these are much more worth it. And of course, anime series exist for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. They're really, really long. Compared to how long the series are, there aren't all that many filler episodes, but a lot of the length comes from just how long it takes them to get stuff done. Because in the manga, Kamehameha Wave may only take up 1 page, but in an animated show, it, you know, may or may not take 2 episodes. So with that, if you haven't checked out Dragon Ball yet, go do it. It is definitely worth your time, and we will see you guys next month for a review of Death Note. Hey Joel, aren't you forgetting something? Nope. Are you sure? I'm sure. Shouldn't you talk about Dragon Ball Evolution? Shut up!